Our students, Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again with another lesson. Now, I know I'm doing the drawing position series right now, but I thought I would stop and take some time to answer some questions because I've been getting a lot of new subscribers. Oh yeah, and subscribe. If you watch my channel, subscribe. And they've been asking me a number of questions, so I thought I'd stop and answer some of these questions. You know, some of the questions like, can you make a living off doing comic books? What does it take to do comic books? How should I start? So I'm going to go to the drawing table with you guys, and I'm going to answer some of these questions, and then maybe at the end I would get back into the little of the drawing series. Depends on how long it takes. So for all of you who are wanting to do comic books, who have started your comic books, and plan on producing comic books, I guess, or selling, I've got some answers for you guys that you may not have the questions to. But let's go to the drawing table and I will give you the answers that I know. All right, let me start out by answering a couple of quick questions. Let me answer this easy one first. And I subscribe. Well, first of all, let me say this. I always answer all of my comments. If you have questions and comments, I always answer them. But there are some I try to open up to answer and they disappear. I don't know if it's just, I don't know, being blocked or what, but I don't have the blocker on any comments. I want to hear all comments. So one question was, do I need to learn the basics before doing cartooning? He didn't want to really do comics, he wanted to do cartooning, and I have to say yes, you have to learn the basics of everything, because if you're going to drive a car, you're going to have to learn the basics of how to drive a car. You don't start it up and go out on the highway. So you have to learn the basics of cartoons, and we'll get into the basics of kind of things later. And the big question is, can I make a living off of doing comic books? You know, a lot of people have been discovering my channel, and they're doing the drawings, they want to do the comic books. And can you make a living off of doing comic books? I would say the first one would be no, you cannot. You cannot get rich doing comic books. And the second one would be yes, you can get rich doing comic books. So let me answer the no part first, or explain the no part, and then I'll explain the yes part. So if it's just you, if you wake up one day and say, oh, I want to do a comic book, maybe you had an idea when you were younger, or you saw a movie or something and said, you know what, I want to do a comic book. And you start to do your comic book, but it's just you. So you have to write, you have to draw, you have to ink, you have to do all of that. You know, how long is it going to take you to get your comic book out? Let's just say I put out my comic book. This was a comic book I did in, I think, 2000. And I don't know how long it took me to put out, but I've only done one. So how long is it going to take me to get another book out? So you have to ask yourself that, is it just me? Am I doing everything? Or how long can how much time do I have to draw to get my book out? Do I draw like an hour after work, or maybe an hour and a half after school, or do I have kids? You have to ask yourself, this is a business. Comic books is a business. And, or you're trying to make a business out of it. And you have to have a product. Now, how soon can you have that product out? If you don't have it out, you're not making money. So that would be the no part. If you're just by yourself, you're not going to do it. Now, the yes part is if you have a team and you are kicking these books out, there's a great chance that you will, because you have to let people know what you have out. That's the most important thing. Now let me show you these, because I pulled these out and I'm going to show you. This is kind of, I don't want to say this is like bragging, but you know, these are some of the things that I have done already. Children's book, sketchbook. These are the comic book, Trials of the Samurai Clown. Now I have like four comic book titles, but these are the ones that I do. Action pose position, another drawing, all girl drawing book, and another drawing book. And I think I just showed you that one already, sketchbook. Now, I have all these out, plus a couple other things that I have done. And in no way am I rich. Now, I've done all these 98% by myself. I had help with maybe like some lettering, some coloring. But, you know, in no means am I rich because of that. I still have a full-time job, and I still try to find ways to make money on the side. And I think the reason why is because nobody knows. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows my books. Now, as I said, I'm lucky now that I'm on Facebook, YouTube. I'm getting more subscribers, so now more people are knowing about me, so I have a better chance of selling. But that is the main thing. You have to ask yourself, I want to draw a comic book. Okay, so let me draw the comic book. Once you have this comic book done, how are you going to sell it? That's the main thing. How are you going to advertise it? That's the main thing. If I have a cure for cancer and nobody knows, I don't have anything. I'm not getting rich. I'm not making money. Nobody knows me. But if I tell people that I have a cure for cancer and it goes out overnight, I'm a billionaire, probably a trillionaire. So that's the thing you have to ask yourself. Once you do your book, even before you do your book, have a plan. Okay, I want to do this book. I want to get it out. I want to have it sold here. I want to have it produced here. So you have to have that plan. But you have to let people know that you have that book before it even comes out. You have to water their mouths. You have to have them hungry to say, okay, yeah, this is I got to do this. I got to do this. So explain this. I think if you've been with me and you've seen all my videos, you understand what this is. This is just basically the parts made up of the body. These are the shapes you need to do the body, and we'll get into that. Hopefully I'll have enough time to get into that. I don't want this to be no more than 30 minutes or so. So, number one, you have to have a good story, and you have to have a good character or characters. There's the two things that you have to have when doing a book. Now, if you have some alien that came to the planet and had superpowers and his planet blew up, and he's flying around with a cape, then nobody's going to want to see that, because it's basically a knockoff or something, or it's just a watered down version of something else. You have to have original characters. You have to have something that is just original, that when people see it, they're like, wow, what is that? So these are my characters for Trials of the Samurai Clown. I didn't want superpowered guys, because we're getting flooded by superpowered guys and this and that. And so I wanted to just back down and go back to the lower end and just have a good story. So you've got to have, number one, good characters. And you have to have a good story to go with that. If you have both, then more than likely, yeah, you'll take off. A lot of people, when they start, they really can't draw. They really can't draw. So will a book sell if the art is bad? If your story is great, yes, it will be. But you have to capture them in the first few moments. You have to be able to capture these guys with your story and show them that it's going to be a great story. And then you have a chance. Now, if you have a bad story and good art, yeah, you can do that. Now, how good is your art? That's the question. How good is your art? Good enough to cure cancer? When somebody opens up the book and they see it, they're like, oh, and then, everything's fine and they're going to spend all that money on it. But, if not, you're going to have to hire somebody, which is money. So you have to have a great story or interesting characters. That's another way. And then you have to flood the market with it. And that's something I never did. I don't know why I did, because what is it? What is that? What do they call that? Not fear of failure. Fear of success, I think. A lot of people have that. Artists are afraid to show their work, because somebody might say, oh, this eye is crooked, or this is wrong, or that's wrong. So a lot of people don't go out that extra mile. And the fear of rejection, too. I've had so many things that have been rejected when I tried to sell some of my paintings. That stuff stays with artists. Artists are really, basically, we stab ourselves in the foot because, of that fear of selling. But develop some good characters, develop a great story, advertise. Put this thing on Facebook, put this thing on Twitter. Anywhere you can put free advertising, then you get your audience, and then you get them hungry for your story. So now that they're hungry for your story, you have to feed them that story. You have to feed them that art. But if they don't see it, then they'll go on to something else. So you have to take all that in consideration. And these are just some pages that I did from the very first Trials of the Samurai Clown book. Not in order, but these are just a few pages. So, and this was done by myself. It took me a while to get this out, but I got it out, and I think I'm on book 6, I think. So, yeah, as I say, something you have to think about. Am I by myself doing this on the side, or do I have that team? Now, if you have a team that's just hungry for, just on fire for these characters and the story, and everybody's working in unison, and you're kicking those books out, you have a good chance of making it. But if not, that's something you have to think about, because comics is kind of like rebuilding a car. If I find an old car somewhere in a junkyard and I buy it, and then I'm spending like all these thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars on parts, and I'm putting it together by myself, that car will not make me money. It's going to look good. I might do a couple car shows, but it's going to take my time and money. But that's kind of like a love of the heart. So that's what comics is. Unless you get hired on by a company and you do your own comic, that's a love of the heart. So that's something that you have to do. You have to like say, you know, no, I'm not going to go out to the bar tonight, or I'm not going to go to the club. I'm not going to play no video game. I'm going to work on my comic because I love it that much. So that's another way you can possibly make it, you know, because you have to love it and be drawing in the bathroom. I had a friend of mine who said, and he went to the bathroom, he would take a sketch pad and he'd draw. I'd see him, he'd have his hand all bandaged up because he's so many cramps in his hand because he was drawing. He's kicked out I don't know how many books by himself, you know. So that's like an incredible thing. So where's my paper? Where's the question? I think that's about it for the things. If you're not a good artist, if you're not a great artist, and I'm going to show you at the end of this, and I think that it'll go back into the drawing positions thing. Try to find your reference. Try to find you some type of reference character to draw from. Now, I know a lot of people don't have the money for that, but I mean, if it's something you're serious about, try to find you something that will help you to see and learn anatomy. I mean, that's what the videos are about, but it's always good to have something this. And this is Bandai, Bodykun, Body-chan from Japan. Now, you can go on Amazon and find a lot of these things, but they're knockoffs. You know, you go on there and read the reviews. Some of them come, the heads are broken. I think I read one had 2 left hands. One had a different foot and a different leg from another doll. So if you see these things and they're like $12, $14, more than likely it's a ripoff. You know, you don't want to buy a ripoff something. The best thing to do is go into a toy store and buy some toy, you know, a Spider-Man figure or some figure that don't have a lot of gear on it. Like this, for instance. All right, like this. This was Overwatch. I just saw this in the store and I decided to buy this because I like Overwatch. You know, it's nice and all as a figure, but if I'm trying to draw like abs and chest and so forth, you know, this is kind of like impossible to do because the guy is not, he's just basically not, let's just say naked, you know, as this one would be. So something like a Spider-Man figure or a Black Panther figure or something without a lot of gadgets, buy that, you know, $10 one from the store and make sure it's like articulated, because I ended up buying a little Captain America that same day and his arms don't move. It just, arms just hangs down to the side. So yeah. Reference. Always try to get you some reference. All right, I'm sorry if I was in my squeaky chair. I had to switch chairs. Now, as far as drawing goes, this again, the body's a puzzle. The body's a puzzle. If I took each piece of this off, you have to learn what these pieces look like. If you take one piece at a time, if you took this forearm and you turned it around, you have to know what that forearm looks like from every angle. So these are the pieces in basic shapes of the body. You take these apart, you turn them around. Once you get them to where you can draw it in any position, then you are good to go and you can start your drawing. And this is for people that have just started, are just starting out to draw, because comics, excuse me one second. As I say, it's kind of a it's kind of a love of the heart. It's a dream and something that you might have said you wanted to do for a long time, and now you have the time to do it. Let's just say, for instance, if I'm going to do somebody running, like that, you have to know, you should have to be able to see these legs and to turn them around and to be able to do it from every angle. Let's just say this leg was like here. And this leg was down here. Even from the back, you'd have to be able to know. So it's like this leg is in. And this leg is up here, so it'll be more like this. like that. So you have to be able to know that, and it's once you start it, it becomes very easy to do. But it's just you have to learn each part. A lot of people, they'll want to look at the muscles, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna make my character so big and burly and muscularly," and you really don't know what the muscles do when they change position. I'll bring this guy down a little bit more. So that's why I say when you start drawing, don't try to draw, a bunch of muscles. Just do the basic. And then once you learn that basics, you'll be able to draw muscles. And I used to be able to talk and draw at the same time, but for some strange reason, I'm losing it. What was that? Inside calf, outside. And then that, and the back of the foot is like this. What was I doing? And put it out like that. Yeah, so if you just take a piece at a time, just a piece, it's like if I drew this particular shape here. Let's just say if I drew this shape, just coming up with a shape. And that is a pole sticking out, a piece sticking out. You'd have to be able to see that in your head and draw it from every conceivable angle. Let's just say this. Because it's curved. No, that's not supposed to be curved. And there's like a pole sticking out both ends. You have to be able to see it from the front, the back, the side, and just draw it in every position you can. And that's the same thing with the anatomy. And that's what I've been doing with this draw your own pose, or the pose that you want, because doing the head, and I'll get into that. You're doing the head. What does it look like from the side? What does it look like when you're looking up? Down. And that's what I would say. Just take one body part. Did you even see that? No, you did not see that. You and this camera, Brian. Again. From the front. And this is how I do my heads, from the front like that. A lot of lines. From the side. The side is more like the letter P. Like that. From the top. And notice they start up with the oval. The chin that comes up like this. And your neck. So your nose is going to be a little higher. Your eyes are going to be like right there. And your mouth is going to be right there. So if this is the front, your ears are going to be lower. You have your chin here, your jawbone, cheekbones, side of your temples. Side view is a letter P, as I said. It's like a letter P. Temples. Ears are lowered. Front. And when I do a front, I usually tend to do like the Boba Fett mask. And I think I don't want to say I had that before Boba Fett, because, it's just that line that comes up to there, and then it comes out. Your ears, your eyes are going to be on this level here. Your nose is in the center. Your mouth is here. This is a P. This is like the letter P. Like that. Your neck, your nose in the center. Your eye is like way back here. Your nose, your mouth, chin, your ear. So yeah, you're gonna have to learn how to take it and draw from every direction. So start out, if you're drawing, start out with one thing at a time, like a hand. Do as many hands. You try to do like 100 hands. And the best thing is to do, if you're drawing something, like I've got a few people who said they took one of my videos, it's like how to draw the anatomy, oh so simple. I think that's the title of it. And they were like, I had a lot of good comments. It's like, it looks like a man. It's the first time I drew it. It looks like a man. It's not perfect, but it looks, so that's a good thing that they said that. But take something and draw it. If you draw something, draw it 3 times. It's like if I did this fist, I would draw this thing. If I drew 1, I would go ahead and I would draw it again 3 times to make it better. Or it's muscle memory basically. It's just like writing your name. You can do your signature over and over again, no problem. But when it comes to drawing, your brain is not used to that, doing it. But if you do it over and over again, then it'll start to look better and you'll get used to drawing it. And then later on, when you try to draw that fist, you're like, oh, I can draw that. And you won't even remember how you can draw it. You just know that you can draw it because it's stuck in your head because you kept drawing it that one time. So, yeah, muscle memory, that's all it is. But some people want to do it one time and they give up. And they're like, your video sucks. As I had a number of people like, oh, your video sucks. This is not easy. It's hard. And I'm thinking, because you tried it. If I get on a skateboard and I ride it the first time and I fall off, is it the skateboard's fault? Or is it my fault because I don't really know what I'm doing? But yet I'm getting up off the ground and I'm seeing all these people doing all these tricks and flips and so forth. But I'm like, oh, skateboarding sucks. Not to them because they know what they're doing because they have practiced and practiced and practiced. But me, I get on it one time, I fall off, then I want to cry like a baby. So yes, don't, if it's something that you love, don't give up. Keep going, keep going, keep going, and eventually you'll get it. And it is, that's like 18 or 21 parts that I have to the body. So it's like 21 parts that you would have to draw to be able to draw like this. And these are basically circles. Who can't draw a circle? You do circles every day when you start writing. And I keep on saying that to people that who say, I can't draw a circle. I can't draw an oval. These are ovals. These are circles. They're a little crooked, but if I'm drawing something using this crooked little oval, and I do this, and here's some legs here, and here's an arm here, and here's a head here, and there's a foot, and you say, oh, that doesn't look good. But if I'm going to put clothes on this guy, then of course you're not going to see the mistakes. I forgot how to do a shirt. And I put it like a jacket on him. A little suit coat. Then you're not going to see the mistakes that I did with that oval. Jacket comes like this. And the same thing, you have to study. If you're trying to be an artist, don't look at stuff and then just kind of bypass it. Like if you see a wrecked car, don't just look at it and bypass it. Look and see how the glass is shattered, what shape that takes for the glass. If you see, a tree, just, see the shape of that tree, how the branches go out, like a suit. It took me a while to realize that a t-shirt and a suit, t-shirt and a suit coat, the seams are different. The t-shirt seams will come straight down off the shoulders, where if you have a suit coat, the seams for the shoulders come way out there. Just things that you have to think about. That's why people, when you put on a suit, they look like they have those wide shoulders, because the seam for the arm comes out there. That's another reason why you can't lift your arms up when you have a suit coat, because your seams are so off, and of course the material is so thick. Yeah, so as I say, once you learn to once you put what you want to put on there, then those shapes are covered up. So, or those poor excuses for shapes are covered up. Yeah, so nobody would know that my oval was crooked other than the head. You got to get that, halfway right anyway. But you can always do a square or rectangle for a head and then just round it off like that. And then you have your nice head in there, and just erase the part that you don't want. Drawing is simple once you know the key to it. Once you know the key, this is why I get online and I show you what I know, because I was self-taught. Nobody was there showing me, so I had to figure out what's the easiest way to do it, because I'm typically lazy and I don't want to go the long way to do stuff. So I just figure out, okay, the foot is basically like a triangle. Instead of saying, okay, the foot, I have to draw the foot, it curves in like this, and then it does this, and the heel is like that. And then, you're going to have to do it anyway. But in the beginning, if this is your character, I'm not going to look at his foot. I'm going to look at his face and his hands. So those are like the most important things for showing expression in drawing, the face and the hands. So those are things that you have to kind of get right when you start doing serious books. It's like these hands, I came up with a way to do these hands because it was easy way to do it. Just you have your shape here. It's kind of like this is the wrong pen. Your half diamond here that cuts up, and then you put the thumb there, and that curves around to the first finger, however you want to do it. If you want to bend it, and you have your third and fourth finger, and that's a quick, relaxed hand. The same way with a fist. Same fist. Gonna be drawing fists here, and at this point, I have no idea how to do a fist. Thumb, and it curves in like this. The thumb is square, it curves in like that, and you do a Y, the letter Y, and then you have a fist. And you want to show the other finger, you can. But it's just put your thumb, here's your palm, here's your thumb, it curves in, and you have this, and you do the letter, you do a Y, and these are your bent fingers. This is just that one finger that's bending up in there. Quick and simple ways to do it. I'll get more into hands and more into faces later in the series. So I think this is it was kind of a quick lesson, but I really just wanted to answer some of the questions that people asked me. And that was just 2 questions, but there was probably more in there that I wanted to show, but I forgot, or I wasn't thinking about it. So I don't even know how long this is going, 29 minutes with cuts. So what I want to do now is this. All right, let me show you this. For those who are just starting out and having problems drawing, instead of trying to draw this way, let me show you. Instead of, make sure you guys can see. I knew you were going to do that. Instead of doing the oval and the beetle, now suddenly I am losing my words. Instead of drawing this way from the beginning, let's just say you couldn't, it was hard for you to do. And I'll finish this in a second. And the reason I draw this quick, because I do it over and over and over again. These are the shapes that I have mastered, just like seeing this one shape and just drawing it over, you get there. Why would this guy put his hand on his hip? I don't know. I'm just drawing. Let's give this guy a little bit more head. Too much neck. All right, so instead of, being able to draw that, all you have to do is worry about this part right in here. This is the hardest part and the basicest part, the basics, whatever. Just do this. You have this collarbone, and you got a little bit of curve to it, just use your square or use your rectangle. Use your rectangle. Because of this, you'll see some side. You have to learn your shapes. You have to learn your shapes. Some side right there, center line. Center line comes, you can turn it into the house. Coming up, you can have the head, and then you put the legs on, however you put the legs. And the legs can be just straight or just ovals for the time being. And this is something you're going to have to learn your cylinders. You got to learn your cylinders. If you're drawing, you have to learn how to draw a cylinder and turn a cylinder and place a cylinder and just be in love with a cylinder. You have to, there's no getting around that. It's just because your arms and your legs are vital, or especially your arms are vital in drawing anatomy, you know, and you're just going to have to do it. And if I put another cylinder here, let's just say this way. We're just opening here. You know, and I put a ball there. There's my hand. There's my hand. Or there's my arm with my hand. You have to know how to draw these cylinders. No getting around that. So I'm just making it easy for you guys right now with the body. Just your square, and you have to have some turn, and then you put your circle. And an easy way to do the hand or the arms are just a circle, cylinder, and or oval, and then a triangle with a round end like that. Well, this guy's had his hand here, so let's do what I just did. That oval, and then your triangle. Triangle, triangle with a round. Well, that would be a cone, would it not be, Brian? I would believe so. And again, circle, cylinder, or oval. It doesn't have to be in the beginning, just do oval. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this all day long. Just do that. You just kind of like scribbling. That, and then your triangle. If you have trouble doing it, do just basically triangle like that. Then round it off. You're gonna have to round it off, and that starts the drawing of cylinders. And then like that. So you have that. This is the side. This is where you're going to curve the chest at right here. But no need to even put a chest on there if I'm drawing some clothes on there. Now what I would do, since I have it like this, I would bring it in wherever the hip is. I would bring it in and then back out like that. Not too much, because, you know, too much would be a woman. So just, this is a man. Just bring it in and then straight down like that. So initially, you're doing this. You are doing this. And then straight down like that. And then if you have to, you can either go up or down with it. You make that point. And there is your upside down house, aka your 80s underwear for your character. Here's your leg, for those who can't really see what I just did. Here's the other leg, because you already have the separator. When you put that point there, round it off, number one, and then that already separates your legs from, you know, everything else, your two legs. So if I did that, I would just make this square. Well, I'm not even going to do that, because if I'm putting clothes on it, then all this is going to be covered up. You also have your two triangles here. They can come here, or your one triangle like that, or just think of the top of your roof or your house like that. And then you just add some neck. You put a V down here at this point, and then you go up. And then you have a quick body, and whatever clothes you put on covers all that stuff up. It covers all your joints. You won't have to see how your elbow connects, or your biceps and your triceps, you know, connect or align. You won't have to know where your delts go, because I'm going to dress this guy up and put a nice suit or t-shirt on this cat like that. And wherever your joints move, you're going to have wrinkles. Or wherever your arm moves, you're going to have like a few wrinkles. But you have to know which side which side goes where. Which circle goes where. And then your seam, and the shirt comes down like this, a little wrinkle down here. And then that's covered up. This guy is ready to go. Put some shorts on him if you choose. For all those people who want to do like fashion design, you know, if he's going to be naked anywhere, then you're going to have to know how to do the body. Naked as in uncovered. some socks, you know, some tennis shoes. Like so. And then, as I say, whenever he is uncovered somewhere, you're going to have to know how to do the body. But that's why I say do your cylinders. Do your cylinders. And then we'll get into the head and face and expressions and so forth later. So for me, not having to do this, the square suffices. And then I will put, since this is turned a little bit, I'll show the front of that. And you can put like some wrinkles in the shirt to show, you know, where the chest is. Same thing where you put the wrinkles in the pants to know where the, you know, the creases are. A pocket, the seam down the side, maybe the seam in the inside. Your, what is it? Your inseam. So yeah, you don't have to do this. I do this because this is me, and most times I do like muscular characters. But when I'm doing something small, in the comic books, like these characters here, basically this is all I did. I did the square shape. This, you know, these guys are all that. I don't think I did the oval. I just put the square shape because I knew I was going to cover these guys up. So why would I need to draw abs? I wouldn't need to draw abs. I won't need to draw the connections to the shoulders. As long as I know that they're lined up and in proportion, then I'm good to go. So yeah, so don't stress. If you're not a good drawer, you will be if you love it and you put your time and your heart into it. It just takes time. It's just drawing over and over and over and over again, just like your signature. Once you got out of school or when you got to that grade, you had to practice your signature over and over until you got it right. So, you know, it'll come out right the same way all the time because you practice it and your muscles know exactly how you write your name. So, yeah, that's going to be it for this little quick informative video. And, yeah, next one will be more on, I'll cover this again, and then we'll kind of like continue on to doing more stuff for the anatomy. So again, subscribe, thumbs up, and then hit the notification bell because I'm going to try to put one up every day unless something happens and I can't make it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Stuff is just falling off my table.